I think I would want to go see St. Patrick's Day Land. Because it's like, what is that? Just like Ireland?
You couldn't just open the door because there's just Guinness bottles and gold, pots of gold everywhere.
Hey, as an Irishman, I find that funny.
Nerd On.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Nerd On, the podcast you didn't need, but you deserve. We're going to go around the horn and do a little bit of an introduction to the hosts. To my left.
This is Tom, and I am the resident grumpy dude. But today I think that's not going to happen a lot because I'm really excited about this topic, and I'm a big fan of all things that are dark and twisted,
Macabre.
Yeah.
And
I
Macabre
hope
Tom.
and
Tom.
Yeah. And for all those listeners, you guys are welcome to things that we like, as I hope that I'll be welcome to your ears.
Yes.
That sounds weird.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Tom, you're changing.
Oh.
What's up, guys? It's me, Mr. Powers, here to talk about. This is one of my favorite entertainment movies. I love this film. Probably not as much as Josh, but it's pretty far up there. So I'm excited as well.
More than your wife?
You're gonna hear me gush. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, Ali. I agree. I love this movie.
I'm Ali, and I agree.
We all love this movie more than
With
I love this
everything.
message.
I'm Josh, and today we are talking about something very near and dear to my heart. We are talking about the movie Nightmare Before Christmas.
And near and dear to your butthole.
Yeah,
as well.
near and dear as we have...
To the shoulder of his butthole.
Yes,
Sorry,
the
yes.
shoulder
Yeah,
of
yes,
my
yes.
butt hole.
Butthole.
Yes, 'tis the season. It is about that season. Is it a Christmas movie? Is it a Halloween movie?
Or is it
What
the perfect blend of both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know what? No one cares about Thanksgiving.
I believe Tim Burton went on record saying it is a Christmas movie.
Okay.
So
It's a pretty genius. If you think about it from a marketing standpoint, they could have ran that movie from October through December and
Oh,
just
yeah.
made
But
bank.
Disneyland starts using the Night Before Christmas stuff when Halloween hits.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it just runs through. So, yeah, to your point.
It's a
Yeah.
perfect amalgamation of both.
Yeah.
It's very, very strong Halloween imagery. Like really good, well done.
Oh yeah.
The imagery is strong with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're talking about. I'm very, very excited about it because
Did we say it yet? Did we say Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yes,
Okay,
we were
good.
talking about Nightmare Before Christmas. In case
I
anybody
just like,
didn't
did we
know.
say the title at all?
It's welcome
Nightmare
aboard to
Before
podcast.
Well, I mean, all
everyone.
our listeners also saw the title, too.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, Tom.
Yeah.
When they click the thumbnail, when they,
Yeah. So yeah. How shall we start this?
Well,
What
I
do we
think
wanna do?
I really would like you to start it off because it's kind of
Oh,
your thing. Like, what was, and we'll go around and talk about this. What was like your first experience watching it, if you recall, or what does the movie mean to you,
Yeah.
either then or now?
Well, I mean, it came out in 1993. I was 8, so I remember seeing it in the theaters. But it really became a big part of my life in high school. Actually, I was a really shy kid. Really, before high school, I was a really shy kid, and a friend of mine talked me into auditioning for a play. And at the time, we talked about this in our movies episode, but my high school drama director did a play version of Nightmare Before Christmas, and I watched it a lot, obviously. And
Got to get into the role.
yeah, the script, and when you read a script enough, you just memorize. Anyway,
Is it one of those movies now you can like word for word?
yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
We watched it a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I, and I was sitting over there just like kind of mouthing the words because I just knew even just the lines of dialogue.
Bunny.
Yeah. And not even just the song lyrics, but just like the script.
Yeah.
And so
How is it with that surround sound?
it's pretty amazing. It's so good. But yeah, I just love this movie. There's from beginning to end, I love the arc of it. I love the characters. I love the world. I love stop motion. I just think it's such a cool thing. And in 1993, it was just like, whoa.
So
this is so cool.
So you watched it before you were doing it in the play, right?
Yeah, but
But
it
then-
wasn't as much of a
Impact.
I think it had such an impact on me because I was such a shy kid, and that was the start of my acting.
It became something for you.
It became something from me because it broke me out of my
It was a vehicle.
Your shell. Yeah.
my shell and kind of created the monster that is me today. That is not
And what a
as
monster
shy.
it is.
Yeah, and isn't very shy, but I was very, very shy then. I hardly even talked, and so yeah,
That's nice. I like that.
Kind of going back to Josh's point, I mentioned it in our Halloween one, and something that's stupid that scared me when I was a really kid. I remember, I don't know if it was like D2 Mighty Ducks while watching the VHS or some, but I just remember watching a VHS and seeing the trailer for Nightmare Before Christmas. And the part where Jack Skellington rips off his head scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And so I said that, and I was this dumb little kid. And, the movie came out in 1993. I was born in 1991. So, obviously the movie had been out by that time, but I never watched it. And then I remember maybe I was like 5 or 6, and I started watching it. And I found, and my sister, Tammy, we don't need
Shout out to Tammy.
Okay, I guess we could.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Tammy and Tommy.
Yeah.
I like how immediately I was like, I know what I was going to say.
I didn't even notice that. Well done.
Yeah.
Tammy and Tommy. That was her favorite movie at the time, and she was the older sister, so everything, kind of what happens with you have an older sibling, you never have to buy new clothes because you just
I don't know
take
what that's
theirs.
like.
There's like two jokes happening right there.
You wore your big sister's clothes?
Excuse me?
You wore your big sister's
Yeah,
clothes?
exactly. We'll just pass down, hand me downs. That's how normal families are, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, no, but just
Is that why you're wearing a dress tonight?
exactly.
Okay.
Just the influence of having an older, sister or brother in your household, like they pretty much influence everything you do. Everything that they do is cooler than whatever you're doing because you're a dumb young.
Well, yeah, the oldest sibling is always the coolest, smartest, and handsome
Oh, yeah.
one. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever
Yeah,
said that
totally.
is probably the older sibling.
What?
Oh, I can't think of that. Anyone that is here.
But yeah, so she loved Night Before Christmas. I never knew why. She was always a very like everything that Tommy liked. She had to be opposite of. But that was the one thing I was kind of like, I can like this. And that's where it kind of came from for me. Was at first I was scared of everything. I was scared of like skeletons and goblins and vampires,
Everything.
and werewolf, everything that could be quote unquote scary. Is actually now the things I love the most. Probably because of Night Before Christmas, because it made it to the point where like these monsters aren't these one-dimensional things that are out to get you. They're people. They're things that have feelings and they have hopes, and werewolves wear flannel. Like
Yeah. Of course they do.
yeah, and some vampires are tall and skinny and fat, and they have high-pitched voices, and so it kind of just threw away all those things I like. The scary movies of those times for me, and I stopped becoming like afraid of the dark at that point, I guess. But yeah, it was just when I was watching it as a kid. I had the little black clamshell VHS thing.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, we would put it in every maybe Halloween, actually probably at least once a month. Actually thinking about it because she loved that movie so much, and that's what we would do. We would just rewatch the movies that we loved so often because again, the VCR and TV became like our third parent.
Nice.
So
I like
that was where that Night Before Christmas came from me.
For me, it was I was 4 when it came out, so I don't remember if I saw it in theaters or not. But my one of my grandparents we call Granny.
Shout out to Granny.
We call her Granny Goodwitch. She's into the witch kind of stuff. Like
Nice.
she always had these. My mom made her this little like thing that hung in the doorway that was like 3 different potions. It was like rat tail, whatever, and it was all painted and hung up. So I think she was the first one to show that to us, and I fell in love. I thought Jack was the coolest.
The Pumpkin King, baby.
Dude, that opening song hooked me
Jack's-
immediately.
when he comes in and he's just scared,
And he lights himself on fire, and the way
jumps off.
the way he comes out of it and his like bow tie unfolds and everything, I was like super sold.
it's the best way you hype up literally the main character of like this guy's badass.
This guy's the shit. Yeah. Loved the music. Musical theater kid like yourself,
Yeah.
Josh. I played the clown with the tearaway face my
Not musical
freshman year.
theater kid,
Nice.
like you.
But yeah, it's just the aesthetic. I've always been I've always liked Tim Burton stuff. I know he produced, he didn't direct it, but like it's his designs for the characters and stuff. And throughout my life, I've always loved like Edward Scissorhands and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
love
I've just been
Batman.
really drawn into it. And I still love it. The songs, my wife and I sing the songs throughout the year. Anytime
Yeah.
one of us asks, "What's this?" that's just an opening to sing the entire song. So I think it's like much like your sister, we'd had it on every month or every other month at least once because we just wanted to sing.
It's just enjoyable.
It's from start to finish an enjoyable film. So especially when you're like
It's not even that long.
No.
It's like an hour and 15 minutes or something.
Is it really?
It's pretty short.
It's a pretty
I
short.
just
on
watched
Netflix
it
right now, watch
recently
it.
and I just thought it went by quick because I loved it, but
No,
it actually
it's-
goes by quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the first time I watched it. It had to have been with my brother because he's younger than me. Speaking of older brothers, but I think it was. I think it might have even been like Blockbuster, like post whatever. I mean Hollywood Video.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it might have been Hollywood Video post
Lackluster Video.
that. Lackluster Video. But I loved it. I mean, I fell in love immediately. I love Tim Burton's style. It's weird because of all of Tim Burton's work. It reminds me the most of like it correlates the most to me to Batman and Batman Returns.
Just
Well,
like
yeah,
gothic
well,
stuff.
plus
dark
you've
goth.
got Danny Elfman,
Yeah. Oh god. I
Yeah.
love
so
Danny
good.
Elfman.
which we'll talk about.
Oh, yeah, of
yeah,
course.
Danny Elfman. But yeah,
Yeah, and like, I don't know. I don't think I've met a single person who, when you bring that movie up, they're like, I fucking hate that film.
I don't trust a person that doesn't
my
like that.
wife, her grandma is obsessed with it as well, and
Oh
so
man, that's awesome.
the two of us we watch it every Halloween and every Christmas.
Nice.
So
You know, I think, funny enough, like, I think I watched this before I watched the Batman animated series. And the reason I throw back to that, show that we talked about complex characters. Because the thing about with animated series or animated things like stop motion, that a lot of movies and animated stuff get away with comparatively to like live action stuff is that you don't have to show characters going through emotions.
Yeah.
You could just go give story and have this cool, spectacular look, and then you could just plot, and then people are okay with it because they're watching something that doesn't look real. But for me, I think a big thing that I guess I really connected with Jack Skellington with was like when he comes back from Christmas Town and he's trying to recreate Christmas magic.
yeah.
and no one's getting it.
And no one's getting
No one
it, and
understands
like he has to be like, it's okay. It will be some sort of Christmas, and that's just fine.
Oh, and he's like, I may as well give them what they want.
Yeah, and then even like when he's in his tower, like trying to just like maniacally, meticulously try to figure out the formula to do it, and then even like
When he cuts the snowflake.
yeah, and
What does it mean?
yeah, he
and
cuts
it's
the
a spider.
spider.
And he's like, what? The double take.
He puts the candy cane and it becomes a noodle. Like, and then even his very big introduction, like, I don't think there's a lot of like cinema that shows like the hero like that. Like you could compare it to like Indiana Jones, kind of looking at the same time frame, right? Indiana Jones, where it's like he's this like guy who's like meticulously looking over this idol, takes it, runs away. So you could tell like he's willing to take his risk, and then all of a sudden you have him be like this professor. So it's kind of like, oh, so he's also smart too. But then like this is like the most triumphant, like music's going off and it's like Jack. And it's like, oh shit. This is
Everyone
like really
loves
dope.
him.
Everyone loves him. But then right after that, he's by himself, sad and lonely. And like, I think that's probably one of my favorite aspects about him is that like you can have everything, but still be like the like complacent king, you know?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
deep right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely. And like to your point, they show he's smart. He's reciting Shakespeare. He's at heart, he's this lover almost. He romanticizes things highly.
He's just bored.
Yeah. And for someone who
gets
is
bored.
he wants a challenge.
yeah, right, because it's become the same, very, very tired of the same old thing over and over again. And for someone who is like,
and he's on top of it all though. You know, that he has the limelight, and it's like it's very easy when it's like it's the same old thing and you're like a cog in the wheel. But he's like the celebrity of the town.
yeah. Oh man, the something I just realized this. I mean, I was maybe I just didn't notice when I was younger.
were.
The fact that there's a two-faced politician is
Yeah.
my favorite thing in the world, who loses his shit almost immediately.
I love it. I love it. Like, "It's
I'm an
fine,
elected
everyone.
official.
Jack!"
I can't make any decisions on my own.
And you know what? There's something I really miss about 90s kids stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Is the amount of adult jokes that were in there, like over the radar adult
Yeah.
jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Just way over our heads. I mean, if you look at all of Rugrats, the doctor's name is Lipschitz. Like,
Yeah.
which is like, he's a fucking, doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a liar.
Yeah.
But, when you're young, you're like, yeah, Dr. Lipschitz, whatever. He knows what he's talking about. But my dad used to love watching that and All Real Monsters with us because he's like, it's all adult humor. in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And this has I think this movie, having watched it recently for Halloween and then again in preparation for this, really showed me how many adult jokes there are in this
Oh, it
film.
gets dark.
Yeah,
Like
it gets
Kidnap
super
Mr.
dark.
Santa Claus?
Yeah.
That is dark.
Yeah, it is. You know what's really kind of funny? Like you're just kind of thinking about like how you see it now with adult eyes, and me being the film snob, and going back to like how older '90s films were. Like I remember that was a kind of a genre, like in a time frame where, obviously the filmmakers knew the film language and how to correct framing and everything like that. Low angle, high angle, pan shots and stuff like that. But I remember, I think specifically in the '90s, and something that happens a lot, or at least happens in the beginning of Night Before Christmas, is that they use the high angle, which points down at the witches, and uses that as they're the ones creating anxiety for Jack, and he's in the low angle where the camera's pointing up at him. And normally in film language, like when you point up, that person's in power.
Right.
Whenever we see a character like pointed down normally, like when they're in, like the camera's high angle, the character feels small. The character is like, downsized, and they're like, scared of wherever they're looking at. And this time it's reversed. So it's kind of like a really cool analytical thing I just kind of thought about right now.
Yeah.
Weird tangent, but like just thinking about like how
That's
that
what
film.
you're there for. Weird tangents.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, it's just like the film is so rich in so many great things, and it's just like, oh wow, you still get more out of it, to this day. 14 years later? 14 years later?
24 years later.
Oh my god! My
I was like, what is he talking about? This is the first time he saw it?
How about this, Tom? Maybe it's there to just push that part of the plot, which is like he's supposed to be this like important character to the whole town, but he doesn't want to be that. But the camera is still like also part of the town. Mm-hmm. Maybe
The camera is a
that's a
part
good
of
point.
the.
My god!
So I mean, it's a musical. So I mean, we've got to talk about it. What's
Favorite
everybody's
songs.
favorite songs?
Ollie, you want to start this one?
Yeah.
It's Jack's Lament
Oh God,
right off the bat.
For sure.
you deny it. Anyway,
It's so good.
yeah.
I mean, sorry, it scared you, Tom. But that song is,
That and Poor Jack at the end
yeah.
when he's having his realization. I'm
when
like,
he's like
Yeah.
blown up.
yeah, when he's kind of laying on the. That's like probably one of my favorite scenes is when he's laying on the
In the graveyard?
in
Very
the graveyard
in the arms of the
Yeah.
angel.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it because it just, it makes that iconic shot from the posters and from
yeah,
the
yeah.
Like,
DVD covers and with the moon behind him and
And
that
you
weird
get the
swirly
character
mountain thing.
immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah.
my favorite song is,
What's this?
no, actually, that'd probably be second favorite, but it's Boogie's song.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
When
I
he's
love Boogie's
describing
song.
who he
Yeah.
is, I mean that, and when he first meets Santa Claus,
Yeah.
or Sandy Claus, and he's like, you're joking, and I just like, every time that song comes on, like this last 2 times I was watching it, I found myself like tapping my foot and like bobbing along to it because it's so well written. That song is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh?
Fun character.
I mean, I love Jack's Lament. I love Poor Jack. I love Kidnap Mr. Santa Claus. I'm actually, funny enough, I'm not a big fan of What's This, and I think it's just because it's so played, and it's like when people think of Nightmare Before Christmas, they think, oh, what's this? And it's just I like it, but it's just not my
Out of
favorite.
the catalog.
Yeah, I'm
number
like,
one.
oh, I love that. I love when he's explaining the Christmas in that auditorium
that's
to
such a fun
everybody.
song.
And like,
Santa Claus.
yeah, that's one of, and they call him like that.
Yeah.
When it slows down and he
The
does
red
like,
comes up.
yeah, or like,
yeah.
I love it when he goes, but I, Jack, the Pumpkin King. I don't know. Every time I hear that part, I'm just like,
Danny Elfman kills it.
oh,
Danny
God, I
Elfman.
love
And
it.
you know
Yeah.
this. Oh, let me do your song first. And
Huge
we'll go
shout
into
out
stories.
to Danny Elfman.
My favorite is Jack's Lament, but I think like that's my favorite song, and it touches me in such a way. But I think the What's This sequence is a
Yeah,
kind of like
it's a lot of
that's
fun.
what it is. Like that's
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
that's like its own category because the thing is like it's such a stark difference between it. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like this marvel that he's seeing. It's kind of like he's captured the same marvel that children see. What a world of
yeah.
Christmas.
Well, it's
would
done equally as well.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like the thing about with like again, it's kind of like you get the Halloween Town Halloween Town intro, and then you get that, and it's kind of like I don't know, it's just really cool. So like, and it's the only time you actually really see Christmas Town. So like that's why it's kind of like you have to have both. So
Yeah.
but Jack's Lament is like the one.
Have you seen the internet version of What's This? It's called The Fuck.
The fuck?
The fuck?
It's so good.
It's amazing.
Oh my God, it's so funny. We'll have to share that on our Facebook or something.
But the story, do you know the story about how Danny Elfman came to be the voice of Jack?
I know what his thoughts were, but I don't know how it happened.
So it was essentially
What had happened was-
he sang all the parts on tape for Tim Burton, and they would work on the songs together. And they
he
had
also composed the rest of the songs,
Right.
And the score.
and he had cast. They slowly cast other roles and other roles, and they weren't finding someone to play Jack. And eventually, Danny Elfman he's like, there's always a part of me that like kind of wanted to play it, and then Tim Burton eventually was just like, oh no, I kind of wanted you to play it this whole time. And he was like, oh really? And he was like, yeah. I mean, he's like, Danny Elfman's like, I relate to this character beyond any other character I've helped write before. The songs that I was writing for him were kind of like for me, and so it was this sweet little moment of like two best friends being on the same page and being like, well, why don't you play him? And he's like, I would love to play him. And then, of course,
just for the singing parts.
Yeah, just for the singing parts, because the voice actor is Prince Humperdinck from Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I just found out this year. It blew my mind.
And the part that I heard of was the whole like Danny Elfman's connection to Jack's character.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you think about it, this is a composer, like the likes of like Hans Zimmer and John Williams, like they create scores.
Boingo Boingo.
I like little girls.
I love Oingo Boingo.
They have to create themes for characters. When a character comes in, this is the song that plays, and I think it's a really kind of just beautiful moment if you guys ever just appreciate film history. Is that like this composer felt so connected to one character that he had over hundreds of characters. He's done Simpsons, he did Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's did Justice League just recently, and it's like
And Batman.
and it's like, but Jack Skellington, just one character, not the movie, but just the one character, Jack Skellington, is the one that he's felt most connected to, because now he also has to put himself into it, other than what's his like what he can write.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think we were talking about a few weeks ago. We were talking about our favorite or what got us into like loving film, and it's interesting like thinking back. Like now that we're talking about Danny Elfman, I think he's a big part of me like loving a lot of different movies like Batman and like Night Before Christmas and everything else that he's worked on.
Yeah.
Because it's so iconic.
And
like
he still
everything
sings
he does.
all the songs live. There was a video that just surfaced of this last year at the bowl where he sang "What's This?" and was like loving every second of it, which makes me really happy.
And I think that's a really cool thing, just to give like a kind of appreciation to music and like score. It's like it's how emotions sound. I think that's a really big thing, and that's why I think the Jack's Lament really gets to me a lot. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's cool about the Jack's Lament song is like we of course, like we have said, is that it's an introduction to this character, but it's like everybody goes through a time in their life when they're just like they have everything going for them or whatever, and they're just bored with it. I mean, I think that,
But within the
everybody
first
goes
like
through
10 minutes of the movie, it makes you fall in love with Jack.
yeah,
Well, I think that's not to get so philosophical here, or wax philosophy.
Oh, let's get philosophical, baby. Let's
But
go
I think
deep.
that's why the movie still resonates even with younger audiences, especially if we're categorized in that, millennial section. And I think I talked about this in a past podcast, but we all have these like very strong opinions about what we should be doing with our lives and how we should make them mean something. I think our generation
Tears
was
and
like-
rain.
well, our generation like is one of the ones that was rated like most wanting to do something with their life, not just go to a job, make money, and buy a house. Right? There's so many people in our generation that are like, what's out there for me? How can I be greater? And I think that's what this movie does. Is like, Jack is there and he's like, I want to do something else, and he gets the chance to, and then realizes the whole time that like he had everything he needed.
it's like the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Right.
You get there, and
It's a longing that he didn't even know.
He didn't know that within himself the whole time he had been great. He had his greatness, and he just
Which he
was kind of
realizes
blind
later
to it. But I think that's why it still stands today. Is I think a lot of people from our generation still relate with that feeling.
And to go further into it, I mean, the catharsis at the end is that how he has to enjoy and love the things that he actually has. And it's not about like gaining something, or he could appreciate the new things that he has, and it's an experience that he brings back home. But the fact is, his home is his home.
Well, it's like that. You don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Or what's right in front of you. is-
or fighting who you are, like because but that's right, I am Jack the Pumpkin King. It's like he realizes it's like wait,
Fucking awesome.
I'm fucking badass.
Yeah.
I have ultimate weapon.
I have so many ideas.
ultimate weapon.
every time. That's my hockey pads.
It is.
But I mean, I think this is a good point to kind of pivot. We went from the music, we talked about Danny Elfman, to talk about Tim Burton. And I think
Who did not direct this film.
Yes.
No.
But as a filmmaker, and I say filmmaker, this is like technically that's like the pseudonym for producer. But writers, directors, producers could all be filmmakers. Directors of photography, cinematographers,
Storytellers.
camera ops. I think just talking about Tim Burton in terms as an auteur. An auteur is somebody who works in film and has their signature. And so what you think about an auteur is that you look at somebody, you look at a work of, you look at a collection, you look at a body of work.
Tim Burton, Nolan,
Tarantino, Fincher. So like when you watch the movie, you could tell that it's the movie. We've talked about before. We joked at like how when you watch a movie, you don't see their prior movies in it. It kind of just feels like a studio intervention or like the producer took over and that was it.
Yep.
But when the director has a signature or the filmmaker has a signature, he's like, oh yeah, this is a Sorkin film.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue is super witty and here it is. But as Tim Burton as a filmmaker, I think we touched on a really good topic where each character, like the character Jack Skellington, we immediately identify, and it's about him discovering who he is, where he's like, what's out there in front of him, like going to like maybe Edward Scissorhands, right? Someone that's in isolation and then's brought out to see another world and like has to sometimes fight who he is. We see that with Batman, right? He's battling the duality of being Bruce Wayne and Batman at the same time.
Conflicted main characters.
Frankenweenie. No, I'm just kidding.
Corpses. Well, I mean, that's the funny thing is like kind of sometimes you see a difference, and maybe I'll be the minority in it. I feel like there has been a slight degradation of Tim Burton's work.
I don't think you're in the minority on that.
Because of like what you got, just Dark Shadows or Shadow Dark or whatever.
Yeah, Dark Shadows.
And then you got Corpse's Bride. And the thing
Corpse
about
Bride was way before that. That was
Alice in
2006.
Alice in Wonderland. And I mean, the thing is like you could tell that the Tim Burton brand.
I liked Corpse Bride.
What about Big Fish?
I liked it. I think that was like almost the last of his really good movies.
Did you guys like Big Fish?
Oh,
I
Big
did,
Fish.
but that was
Fish.
also before Corpse Bride.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
I think
Or right around the same time.
I think the thing about Corpse Bride that doesn't.
Planet of the Apes. No.
Shush, 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 shush.
I think the thing with Corpse Bride that doesn't set too
monkey.
well with me.
Yo, monkey.
It felt like he was riding the same wave of Nightmare Before Christmas. And it was kind of like, cool. This is
Okay.
a stop motion kind of feel, and it's like everything's a little gothy look. But I mean, he's had that aesthetic for a while, and I think Nightmare Before Christmas made that for him.
Well, Frankenweenie this short was before Nightmare. Am
Yeah.
I correct in saying that? And that's
Yeah.
what gave everything its look,
believe,
because they
right.
have the same look in that as well.
I mean, and that's kind of like the look of Burton, where everything's a little off
Spirals.
Yeah, it almost looks like it's highly inspired by like Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka. Mm-hmm. Like everything's just kind of not
Like a
really
dark
supposed to be
version.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Even more
didn't he do Willy Wonka too?
Yeah, he did Charlie. Well, no, he did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Whatever.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
That was a great film.
Yeah.
He did. God, I can't think of it. The musical with
Beetlejuice.
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd.
Beetlejuice.
Sweeney Todd,
Yeah.
Beetlejuice. Yeah, so I mean, you could tell like his whole body, and that's the thing. He has a stamp. You could tell what's his aesthetic, and I guess you can
Pale.
Yeah, and
So pale.
pale. Everyone kind of has long, pointy things, ears, fingers, and maybe sometimes their hair is a little crazy.
Buildings are
Like
twisted.
himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, at this point, if we focus on the Nightmare era, at this point, he was kind of at the peak of his career as far as storytelling and character creation
I mean,
goes.
he's still got to make residual off of that.
Oh,
He's-
absolutely.
Oh my God.
sure.
He's making bank
He's
probably.
good to go.
Could I?
Yeah.
Probably every time Disneyland uses the imagery.
Can I
Yeah.
tell a cool story about that? Actually,
Do it.
so it was actually like when I was still in college, and I was with my sister, and we were going to Disneyland. And what we used to do when our parents were still married. So sad. Our
I
parents
was
were
just
still
going to say, wow, this just went totally dark.
We used to do a trip to Disneyland every year. And as kids, we grew up going to Disneyland. It's like that was our like, oh, we're going to Los Angeles. We're going to Disneyland. That was what Los Angeles was to me. Was just
Right.
Disneyland. And I realized like it's not even in LA. It's just in Anaheim, right? But I remember like now I'm going with my sister. We're adults now. I'm kind of like at this point, I'm like, oh, I'm too old to be going on a trip with my older sister. But I was like, screw it. She bought the ticket. Let's just go. And it's a tradition we've had. And we went around the Christmas time. And I remember, she wanted to go to the Haunted Mansion ride. And we were walking towards it. And I remember there's big fuss. There's this big fuss going around. And, there's, Haunted Mansion, outside exterior is a bunch of like these tall, long bars, a gate that kind of gates away this garden, and then it has this giant mansion. And in the middle of it, there's another gated portion, and this gated portion had this giant Jack the Skellington statue. And everyone was making this big fuss. I heard like people screaming and stuff like that. And I was like, what the hell is going on? or I said, "What's this?" But I saw some dude inside of the gated thing next to the Jack Skellington. I was like, "Who's this jackass who climbed the fence to stand next to the thing and take a picture?" I was like, "Everyone will do anything for fame nowadays." And then I'm like, "He looks so weird, so artsy fartsy, so like theater
I know where
art
this is
kid."
going.
And I was like, "I don't know what it is." And then I was just like, "Oh shit." That's Tim Burton. And then I literally looked to my left and there's Helen Bonham Carter. Helena Bonham Carter when
Waifu.
and carrying their child. And I was just like,
Did you say waifu?
Yeah.
waifu, exactly. And I was like, holy shit. And this is the time before like cell phones had good cameras. So I had like a disposable camera. I was like, oh my God. And I just like rip the like disposable camera. And then I just like took a picture as soon as I could, and I took a picture of like Helen Bonham Carter, and everything's all blurry, and all you see is just like the forehead of her. And I was like, God damn it! But it was such a kind of cool experience, and I remember that was the year that like I got my sister these like little arm guard thingy like sleeves that you could wear that you'd buy at like a Hot Topic, but they were Jack Skellington ones because I was like,
like with the thumbs out
Yeah.
and stuff.
because that was like the trend
Oh,
at
yeah.
that time. But I was like, we have to remember this year. This is the year that we saw him, and I was just like, it was kind of a really
super
cool.
cool.
That's cool. I like that
moment.
story.
Yeah.
To not to pull away from that because I
Pull
think
away
that's
from
really
it,
cool.
please.
You should probably find those photos and we should probably post them on our Instagram.
Oh, I'm not gonna
Just
find them forever.
saying.
They were burned in
come
the
on.
fire.
This is a question that
Remember, he's a replicant.
I
and
forgot about that.
They really did not do well in the picture department.
I this is something that has always been a burning question in my mind, and I'm glad Tom you brought this up in our
Can we?
talk
I'm
before.
really sorry.
That's okay.
But just some really quick love to Henry Selick, the director.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
James and the Giant Peach.
Oh
Coraline.
my God, James and
just
Giant
some really
Peach,
quick,
baby.
just
Yeah.
some quick love because we were
Which
fan-
Jack Skellington makes a cameo in James and the Giant Peach.
What?
He's the pirate
Yeah.
skeleton underwater. It's Jack Skellington.
Oh my God,
I have to go back and watch
I have to
that.
rewatch that shit.
Just
Are you
Google it,
fucking
man.
kidding me?
I just wanted to make sure that he got some love too because we were Tim Burtoning
He
So,
does.
with
Absolutely.
James and Giant Peach. What else?
Coraline.
Coraline. He
Probably
actually
some
hasn't
more.
done
I
a
love
lot.
Coraline.
But he's done 3 great things.
But the
that
thing
we
is,
know.
like, yeah, that's also a thing too.
Monkey Bone.
Ooh, the one that killed Brendan Fraser's career?
Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, I'm so sorry. I was just like, wait a
That's
minute.
okay.
We're not going to talk about the.
What I was going to say is the burning question in my mind that I've had since I watched the film for the first time is what other door would you like to see Jack fall into?
Oh.
Because I got my answer, but I want to see all
So
y'all's.
what we saw was definitely a turkey.
So there's
An
so I
Easter
looked
egg.
this
It's not
up. There's
Easter.
there's an Easter egg. There's all the holidays are St. Patrick's Day. There's Independence Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, and God, there's one more. I think, or is it 5?
You said Thanksgiving, Easter.
Easter,
So wait, those are the ones that are actually we see in the movie
right?
because we live in 2017 or 2018, wherever you want to.
Was there
listen to
did
this.
it say
Where
Valentine's Day?
every day
Where
is
there's
like
just
a,
No,
like
I
a
didn't say
forest.
Valentine's Day. That's
every
what it was.
day is a national
That's what it was.
something
That's
day.
what I was looking for. I was like, there's one more. I know
What is
it's
it?
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
So Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Easter,
Halloween,
Halloween,
Christmas,
Christmas,
Independence Day,
Independence Day.
and St. Patrick's Day.
and St.
I
Patrick's
didn't.
Day.
What was Independence Day represented by?
Fireworks.
Oh.
Oh,
I'll pull it up if you want.
No, it's fine. I believe you.
shout out to Katy Perry, fireworks. Which one would we want to go to other than Christmas Town and Halloween Town, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like Great Antics could be.
Which are my 2 favorite holidays.
Yeah. They're like the most festive. They're like the ones that actually take over a city.
Yeah.
I think I would want to go see St. Patrick's Day land. Because
Yeah.
it's like, what is that? Just like Ireland?
You couldn't open the
a
door
bunch of
because there's
drunk
just
people.
It's just Ireland.
you couldn't just open the door because there's just Guinness bottles and and gold pots of gold everywhere.
Hey! As an Irishman, I find that funny.
Good. I'm very glad.
And if I can drink Guinness there, then
Yeah.
we're good.
He would open the door and just somebody just drunk would fall.
Someone
we-
just hands me a Guinness.
We
I'm like,
know
I'm in
for
the right
sure that if you go to the Easter one, there is a giant bunny.
Because they
Yeah.
show him.
They show him.
And it's scarred for life.
Yeah.
So I might not.
Bunny!
We might not want to go there. What else? I mean, what would they have? I feel like just the idea of the doors going into it. It's just like you go into the Independence Day one, just fireworks. I was like, I can't see. I'm not gonna
I
be.
feel like
here.
that would be a
Well, that's the thing.
political
Would
satire.
would it be fireworks? I guess it would be fireworks.
Fireworks. I mean, would it
Or
be
would
like
it be just like
ultra
1770s America?
Yeah.
muskets and everything?
Yeah.
I wish they had like a Hanukkah door.
It's like, don't throw all
Yes.
that tea in the goddamn river.
To
Come
go
on.
gambling, that'd be great.
Why there's not a Chinese New Year one, huh?
I don't know.
Ooh, there would be today.
Because Nightmare Before Chinese New Year is
If
just way
if
too
I
long
had
a
to
title.
see, okay, here's a question. Here, let me pose this
Dragons
question as a
everywhere.
two-parter. So We're all going to go around and ask this two-part question.
Okay.
First one is, what other door do you want to see Jack go through? And then which door would you go through, being able to choose through all of them?
We can go into one. We can go into
Ourselves.
We
You
can go
can
to
go to
Halloween,
Halloween Town, Christmas, whatever you want. So, Ollie, let's start with you over here.
So what were the questions? Which
The
one?
first one is, who do you want to see? What was the other one you'd want to see Jack fall into?
If they made a
fall into.
sequel, which door would he go
Which
to?
which
And
movie
then-
do I want to watch?
Out of all the doors, which one would you want to go into?
Both St. Patrick's Day.
Both St. Patrick's Day.
Whoa.
All right. I dig it.
Okay.
Boom, boom.
Because
Josh?
I want to see
Him
what
get
they
drunk.
would do with that, and I want to get drunk off Guinness.
Joshua?
Chocolate milk, baby. Go to your head.
Oh, dang it. That's a good one. Thanksgiving wouldn't be funny.
Maybe a little political.
Easter would
Well,
be.
yeah.
Valentine's Day might be fun. That would be interesting
Jack?
for Jack to go
Okay.
through. For me, I mean, I probably would either want to go to Christmas Town or Halloween Town. Like, I'd want to check it out, see it.
That's
like,
fair.
They're the best
I'm an
ones.
Irishman that doesn't drink, so St. Patrick's Day would be lost on me.
That's fair.
Or
It's-
would you then
and
fall
it's
in
kind
love?
of an American holiday.
fall in love with drinking?
Yeah.
Thom
Thanksgiving.
for Jack.
St. Patrick. Well, I'm going Thanksgiving, St. Patrick's, Independence, Easter, and
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's. You know, I have to go with Valentine's for Jack. But the thing is, like, he already has that part of his narrative done. It would just be kind of interesting to see what they do with it. But then I'd be afraid what's going to happen to the Sally character. Or they
Like him trying to figure out Valentine's Day? I mean, come on.
I guess where
be
everyone,
sweet.
where everyone falls in
Yeah.
love. I feel like that'd be like a little short. That'd be like a short film.
I can dig that.
Where he can get like, I don't know, the Wolfman and someone to fall in love. Or the little doctor and his creation he made to fall in love. Anyways. But for me, I'd go to Christmas Town.
Christmas Town?
Yeah, Christmas is actually probably one of my favorites.
I thought that was off the table.
Well, he said you can go to
That we
one
can go
that we can
into.
go to.
We can
No,
go
we
anywhere.
into anyone.
That's what I was like, oh, dang, Ollie. But yeah, Christmas Town, I think, yeah. I mean, when he picks up that snow and just takes a bite out of it, I was like, that, like anything that's an animated world,
All the
everything,
pies that are just out.
Yeah.
everything food-wise in animated world, fucking, you guys look too good. You have no business looking that good.
No
I hate
business. Especially
bullshit.
pizza.
Pizza. Oh, fucking shit.
Mine would be Jack St. Patrick's Day, just because I'm interested to see
Yeah.
how he'd interact with leprechauns. And me is Halloween Town all day. Halloween is my favorite holiday.
Okay.
By far. I have a lot of good memories of setting up the front yard with my dad. He goes
Terrorizing.
fucking nuts. I think I talked about it
Yeah,
on here,
yeah.
right? Where we take the place of the decorations.
Scaring little kids. Yeah.
For me, like,
Easy targets.
for me, like Christmas is such a big deal because it's the idea of the gift giving, and it's not about like buying something and going crazy like the consumerism world, but it's just like the idea of like this is something that encapsulates something that you feel for somebody.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's like the music. I don't know. It just always puts me-
Eggnog.
I would.
It takes Grumpy Tom to like Happy Tom.
I would change my answer to Christmas for me. Now that I know that it's a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think there's nothing. I mean, this is going to be super cheesy, but I think there's nothing like. I just love that it's a pure, joyous holiday.
Yeah.
You know, and like
And it could be romantic too.
there's nothing better than like sitting by a. Like
Look at
when it's
Halloween
cold
Town,
outside.
Tom.
There's nothing better than when it's cold outside and you're like in a blanket and near the
fireplace
fireplace,
going.
got some hot cocoa,
Chestnuts roasting.
The Christmas
music
tree
going,
is like
music-
lit up.
Got some
I'm a
eggnog, got some hot cocoa.
I'm a
You could even
sucker
get some
for Christmas.
mulled wine.
Yeah.
You guys had mulled wine?
Did everyone say Christmas Town
Crimbus?
for their answers?
maybe.
But what
I
if
said Halloween?
Christmas had a Krampus in there?
Oh, okay.
That'd be a little
super dark.
creepy.
Yeah.
I like that. I'd still choose Halloween Town.
Christmas, I
What if
think,
the
is-
sequel was the Christmas before Halloween?
Halloween. What if Krampus tries to take over Halloween Town?
Tries to dethrone Jack.
Ooh, Suki now.
Who would win?
Jack.
Jack all
Jack
day, every
100%.
day.
You have to chase
Krampus
their
can
way
suck a dick.
through the other world, so it's like every world in the
Oh, I'll do a little Scooby thing.
yeah.
I like those answers, guys. I dig it.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
grateful, like, I didn't
now
answer for you.
Now I'm thinking about it. It's like if I
Answer for all
Christmas
the
wasn't always
listeners.
a good holiday for me, but since I married my wife, it's like my favorite holiday. We make it a thing. We have a lot of fun.
So you're saying it's shit for me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just start crying.
To build off that, what non-main, as a question we have here, non-main characters were your favorite? So no, I'm going to go with what you said earlier. No Zero, no Jack, Sally,
No Oogie
no
Boogie.
Boogie, no.
Can't be Boogie's boys, Lock, Shot,
No Sandy
and
Claus.
Barrel.
I think they can be involved,
But if they
'Cause they
can,
only have the
then-
one
then-
song.
then Zero.
but
Yeah.
Zero's a little more involved because he's there in the beginning. He's there when he finds the door, and he leads the sleigh.
Okay.
The three of them are just in that one.
For a couple of
Yeah.
one-liner funnies and a
I would
song.
say Zero is a far more important character than them.
And a more beloved character.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You don't like
So,
Zero, something's wrong with you.
So I'd say no Zero, no Jack, no Sally, no Boogie.
No Santa.
I mean, do you really like Santa?
In that movie, no, he's kind of even at the end
kind
of
of
it
a
all,
dish.
he's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
I think mine is the 3-piece band.
Oh yeah. What's
Oh.
up, Bone Daddy?
When they're singing, when they try to do Jingle Bells and it's all out of tune.
Yeah.
I love all of them so much, and the guy's head who's inside the stand-up bass
Oh,
Yeah.
gets me every time. Every time.
I love the vampires. They're like
I
very creepy.
Yeah.
And they don't have irises or pupils or anything
Yeah.
like that. And I love that they, like, at the beginning, they get an award for the most blood drained or whatever. And it's like, who else would win?
Yeah. I mean, I do like Oogie's boys. I just think they're just hilarious together. But probably the little kids, like the kid that doesn't have any eyes, like the little fat kid.
Yeah.
And the bat child.
Yeah, the Bat Child. That's what I was trying to think of.
They crack me up.
And the swamp thing is pretty great.
Yeah.
Too.
Who's the doctor?
Dr. Finkelstein.
Yeah. All day. Because
Oh,
he's
yeah?
just this curmudgeon.
He
He's
is.
this angry dude. He's like, you put deadly nightshade in my... I was like, yep, that's how I'm going to go.
Frog's breath.
Yeah, exactly.
No one uses frog's breath and they're trying to cover up something.
Falls down all
You
the
first.
time. It's just, I don't know. And then he like opens his head and picks his brain, which always looked like to me, it looked like these little, what is it, little Welsh Herschel thingy, little candy butterscotch things that you...
Oh, the caramels?
That's what it always reminds. Like those look just like squishy versions of the.
You're talking about like the ones that they always associate with old people? They're
Yeah,
like,
that's what it literally looked like because they're just like little circles of like, what's it? Why does his brain look like that? But I
Oh,
just
man,
love him.
that's really funny.
And then he creates like his wife and it's half of his
And
brain.
the undead reindeer.
Yeah, I mean,
dope as
yeah,
shit.
he's dope. He's
I
dope
don't
as
know,
hell.
He's kind of a main character.
Is he?
I would say so, probably.
So anyone that has anything to do with the plot,
Yeah.
you can't pick.
So, which forgettable character?
which character that doesn't have a toy?
I like the giant snakes that eats the presents.
Well,
It's pretty funny.
my favorite, like one of my favorite toys is that one that looks like an evil Mickey that just flies
Oh, yeah.
around. But I guess, okay, a character that's not a plot point. We can't pick the mayor, right?
Yeah, you can.
I guess you
think
could.
so.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
The Two-Faced Mayor, as an adult now, is probably my favorite.
Oh, then it's
Two-Faced Politician, I was like, holy shit, it took me way too long to figure that out.
Yeah, then I had to be the mayor then. Okay. I had to be the mayor. God damn it.
And a special shout out to Josh's Bunny axe wound Harry.
Actually, I
really
read
what's his
something. Huh?
No.
His name is Behemoth.
Wow.
I was reading today, actually, there was a cut scene that he was going to be a
shit.
featured character or
Was he?
something. I guess so.
What?
I don't know.
Oh, we'll have to check that out.
You know the internet, it's not always true. One thing I did read on the internet that I thought was funny, it was like a forum that was synopsis of movies, or not synopsis, but the moral of the story. And for Nightmare Before Christmas, it was, don't accept soup from somebody that you're imprisoning. Something like that. So thank you, internet, wherever that is.
I think that's a really smart bit of advice, actually.
Yeah.
Does it feel like out of nowhere it kind of had this resurgence, or has it always been like super popular?
It's always
always
I
been
think it's
popular,
always
man.
had its fingers.
Well,
and-
when did it start?
Incense pies.
Because isn't it like all over like Hot Topic stores?
Yeah,
stuff?
and that's what
did that happen at a certain point?
And that was the thing. I was like, I feel like Spencer was kind of the store where it was like, ooh, have the cool stuff. Hey, don't go in the
Yeah.
back because they have the sex toys. And then all of a sudden, Hot Topic was like grunge. And like for me,
The loudest mall store in the mall for 25 years.
and for me,
Yeah.
my big thing is like I remember, dating myself here, but like when I was like a junior or sophomore in high school, like Hot Topic became the store I went to, wearing
Yeah.
the fucking baggy pants and had the chain wallet with the spiky belt
Yeah.
and getting like the vest by some brand that's like the Veil or something crap.
Oh, he's getting
Maybe it was
oddly
just when we were in
specific.
high school
I'm just kidding.
is when that happened. Because we saw it when we were kids, and then when we got to high school, it became cool again.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I felt, because to me I was like, oh cool, it's a movie and there it is, and you'd see like memorabilia at like Disney or something like that, or like a Disney
Well,
store.
it didn't hit Disney where it's such a big thing like that until in the 2000s, where
Yeah.
it became such a huge part of like after Halloween at Disneyland, it becomes
Nightmare.
Nightmare Before Christmas,
So
yeah.
I mean, it's
And then like at night you have the Fantasmic show. It's all Mickey, right? It's all the old school stuff. So I mean, like that's why I kind of felt like out of nowhere, like there's just so much. It's so much more popular actually than it was then. Because I think the movie on itself in 1993 was like good for the kids. Adults really like, oh my god, this is like works of art.
Yeah.
Like you're pushing the technology with stop motion. But then like in terms of just a huge cult fan following, like I feel like it kind of just had this huge resurgence.
Yeah.
That's why I had a real question with it. I mean, and talking about it as an influence amongst like, we talked about the Burton brand and everything like that, how his works are, you could see they're kind of reflections of it. But I don't know if you guys ever played Kingdom Hearts.
oh yeah.
I was about
yeah.
to mention. I was looking up what year Kingdom Hearts came out.
Yeah, because I feel like that was also kind of a big
like an
vehicle-
inspiration,
like
to
a
bring
vehicle.
it- Yeah.
Yeah, a good vehicle for all Disney. Because the thing is, kind of like, we
2002.
2002. So,
That might be right around there.
correlation, maybe not causation.
That's right about there.
But like I found that like Disney out of nowhere just came out of nowhere and like everyone started loving it. I think the nerd culture. I think we'd always attribute that they're the most loyal fans. They stick with whatever it is. Like we had Jeff talking about like he was willing to give up Naruto to go into fucking Digimon, and which is a huge job thing. And like all of us were like, we still hold on to the things that we love as a child, and that's kind of why we started this podcast. And I'm just thinking about like Kingdom Hearts, and that was one of my favorite things about of Kingdom Hearts. Is like when you're Sora, you go into Halloween Town and you get a new outfit.
So good. The music's playing the whole time, and
And you get Jack Skellington as a companion, and he has his whip, and he could like just fuck shit up.
I
And
had a
that's
figure of Sora in his Halloween Town costume.
super
So
dope.
good.
I was just reading some trivia on here about the movie, and it talked about the 3-piece band, and the head inside the bass player is actually Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
It's based on Danny Elfman. So
Oh,
he's
the
got
face?
red.
Yeah.
He's got red hair and
I can see that.
sunglasses.
I can see
I didn't
that.
even know that. That's crazy. I love it even more now. Just solidified the fact that those guys are my favorite. But there's a lot of. I mean, if you check out, my favorite thing to do is check out IMDb. Go to the trivia section of any movie
yeah.
and lose your life on it. There was a lot of cool little stuff, such as Dr. Finkelstein is only listed as evil scientist in the credits, even though he's given a name.
Yeah.
And there
See,
was
that's why I
an
didn't
original
notice that.
idea, not by Tim Burton because he got pissed about this, that Boogie was actually going to be Dr. Finkelstein in disguise. And he said he got so mad that they brought up the idea, or that they were trying to force that idea on him, that he kicked a hole in a wall at the
my
studios.
God.
Because he was like, no!
Yeah, I mean that sounds like a contrived plot point just so you could eliminate a character, because then you lose actually a pretty likable character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like in a weird way, going back to Kingdom Hearts, like it was super dope fighting Oogie Boogie when he's like a giant.
Yeah.
And you're like flying around and like
And you see him in the moon in the beginning of the movie too. So it'd be a little weird for Dr. Finkelstein to do that. It gives him a little more of that, supernatural.
Supernatural.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Kind of like.
But also another little fun fact that I didn't know till I got older and started reading these things. Probably when I was like 22, I learned that the voices of Boogie's kids are Danny Elfman, Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, and Catherine O'Hara, who's probably one of my favorite actresses of all time.
Catherine O'Hara did.
She does a lot of Christopher Guest movies. She also voices some of the characters in Where the Wild Things Are. I'll show you a picture.
But
You'd
she's
recognize her. She's
Sally.
fantastic.
Oh,
She's also Sally. Yeah.
okay.
Beetlejuice.
I have a question.
Oh yeah, she's the mom in Beetlejuice. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Question. Oh,
Misa Dave.
when they dropped the bug, when the Oogie kids dropped the bug into Oogie's lair thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
he eats it, but does it become part of him, or does he just eat it for sustenance?
Wow, we're going way down the rabbit hole.
I always thought it became part of him.
Becomes part of him. I think.
So for me, I always thought he
So
just
he's
ate
not
it.
eating it?
Because the thing is
just
that he's mainly worms, right?
He's bugs.
He's eat all kinds of bugs.
My bugs.
Oh, because he's got spiders coming out.
we both.
And was that like a Terminator 2 death?
Yeah.
With the lava.
That's it. I dig it.
Dun, 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 with the thumbs up.
Yeah.
I dig that. I didn't even realize that before.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just connecting too many things together, but
But the main reason I was reading the trivia, the main reason Tim Burton did not direct this is because he was doing Batman Returns and Ed Wood,
Oh.
and
nice.
that him and Danny Elfman had creative differences on this film, and that's why he didn't ask him to do the score for Ed Wood.
For what?
But they remained friends.
sad.
So that's all good. Ed Wood.
What's Ed Wood?
Ed Wood was a movie about a man named Ed Wood, and it was
I don't know this movie at all. My God.
No? Really?
No.
Oh my
and
gosh.
It's with Johnny Depp. It's a fun film.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Anyway,
This is the good one.
Tom's young. It's okay.
I'm pretty young.
Oh,
Baby Tom.
little Tom.
I mean, does anyone have scissor hands?
No, but Johnny Depp's in it.
Did anyone have pointy ears?
He's in drag.
Did anyone sing?
I don't probably. It's been a while. I haven't seen it since high
So
school.
it doesn't sound like
it's
Tim Burton.
a very off the wall movie. Like
Yeah.
it's very out there, very
It's kooky.
charactery. Yeah, like Johnny Depp is playing this like 110% character. But it's you should check it out, Tom.
Which film did they not have, or did they have creative differences in? Returns?
This one, Nightmare.
Oh.
Apparently there was a few creative differences musicality wise, and he didn't ask him to score Ed Wood.
Interesting.
So it doesn't go into detail. It just says creative differences. But of
It's
course
like,
they're fine. They're
Yeah.
still besties.
It's like Peter Jackson and what's his face?
Yeah, totally.
The guy with the
That
eyebrows?
guy.
Howard.
I
Howard
love
guy.
what's
Howard
his face
something.
Ron Howard?
composing.
No, his composer
Oh,
for Lord of the Rings.
oh God.
Howard Shore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Jackson and Howard Shore. They had a creative differences during Kong,
Oh,
and he left in the middle of that, and they had to bring in a new composer.
I'm assuming he didn't do Hobbit then.
I don't know.
Interesting. We'll look on that. But anyway, back to
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Did we? I mean, we kind of went over our favorite songs. Did that coincide with our favorite parts of the movie?
No, that's what I was about to bring up myself.
Did
He's
we have
very
the same
absolute,
brain?
Matt.
What's that?
Did we have?
Did we just become best friends?
No.
Yep.
No.
You were best
Okay.
friends with
No.
Josh.
Not at all.
God, Tom's so grumpy.
I got
He's
replaced.
very grumpy today.
But yeah, I'd like to talk about our favorite moments for a little bit because there are a lot of things, and I think there's a lot of things that I like
favorite
story-wise.
part that's not musical.
And there's a lot of parts
Wow.
that I attribute to visual, like you were talking about how food looks delicious, like how things look in stop animation. I like them simply because of how they looked when I was
And how they
younger.
look in stop and emotion.
And emotion because it's emotional.
Oh wow.
So
really
like
bad
I brought up
buzzword.
before, the part where he cuts the snowflake out and he does the double take. I've always loved that. But probably my favorite moment in the whole film is when he's passing out the chores for everybody and Sally's trying to like warn him about the tree she saw.
Yeah.
There's something about that scene I really enjoy, like seeing all his ideas halfway come to fruition because everyone's in Halloween Town mode and they're like, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get it. Like when the band plays totally out of key and he's like, yeah, practice a few more times, you'll get it.
Yeah.
And he's showing the suit off and stuff like that. And Sally's like, something's going to be very wrong. And he's like, oh, don't worry. You're just fussing over shit, even though she's totally right. But I've always really liked that scene. And then, of course, the scene where he's experimenting, everything in that is just really fun to watch and see all the colors change. And like you said, the candy cane go into like a noodle. And like when he crushes up
The ornament and
the
becomes
ornament.
dust.
Oh, it's
It's
so-
green.
just visually nice to see,
Yeah.
I guess. I'm sure I'll think of one more, but we'll pass it around.
I think my favorite sequence is him being Santa Claus and passing out the horrifying.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're
It's like-
shooting at us.
I think just
trying to hit us.
yeah, I just loved seeing like exactly kind of like what you were saying, like the fruit of that, of like
Yeah.
it kind of like not really going the right way.
according to
Or
plan.
that moment when the parents are like, what did Santa bring you? And it's the shrunken head.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're like, oh my God.
That's pretty much he's just giving out Hot Topic gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spencer's gifts.
Yeah, Spencer's gifts.
Can you pick a favorite moment, Josh?
It's hard to, but one that always makes me laugh is when he goes to visit Dr. Finkelstein to get some gear and for his
Yeah, yeah.
experiments.
Yeah.
And I just like when Dr. Finkelstein goes, whatever for?
Yeah.
And he gets so
They're yelling to each other throughout
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Good day, Doctor.
yeah.
Jack, my favorite.
Yeah, my boy, come on, come in or something, whatever. Yeah. Makes me laugh.
I think it goes with Corey's, the part where he's just experimenting and all this stuff. There's one part that I really liked a lot that you didn't mention was when he has, what is it, a piece of the mistletoe? And he's looking at it through the forensic microscope.
It's a
holly.
holly. Yeah, the berry.
Yeah, he's looking at it, and then it's like it zooms in and zooms out. Then finally he breaks it and smashes it. I don't know that part where he kind of just like, what the hell? And like I don't know, that part really kind of made me like, just really like it. It's just something that connects with not connects with me, but it's something I just enjoy watching. I guess that was probably it. Like this is the part where he's just investigating everything, all the signs and all that stuff, and the lights are going on, and everyone's kind of like, "What the hell is going on up there?"
Yeah.
And it's like you see the countdown of like days until,
Something's wrong with Jack. That's another good song.
but not part of the song because we can't choose the song part.
Well, it's during the song.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I realize this now
We have
as I'm
answer.
an adult, and I was watching Nightmare Before Christmas last week, and I was like, during What's This, he's asking what's this, and he's never been there, but he knows what it's all called.
Yeah. He's like, what's this? And
Snow.
then he references snow. He says
Laughter, snowballs, all these different things, chestnuts, roasting. I'm like, but how do you...
That's
But
a
you
good
don't-
point. And where does he get the books on Christmas that he's
Yeah.
reading?
Is there a library in Halloween Town?
Oh my God, you guys.
we're gonna
What
break
if
the, we're gonna
Jack
break the next-
Skellington
Is
is
Santa Claus?
from
Oh.
Christmas Town
Whoa.
and he was abducted
What?
as a kid?
What?
That's why he has the longing for something more that he doesn't know.
Yes. I think
He's
oh
the
my
only
God.
person in Halloween Town that has a longing for
That's
more.
true.
That's whoa.
Oh my
That's
God.
return
dark.
to home kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
a nature versus nurture story. It's Superman.
No.
It's Memento, the stop motion.
Wow. And he doesn't.
My God.
Maybe his parents were killed, like Batman.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm not wearing hockey.
Well, I think that's a really oh God.
It's a pretty far-fetched theory, but I think it's a cool theory. But I mean, the thing is, like,
I just thought of it right now.
but
Where does he get the books?
Where
does he get the books? But I mean, in that sense, I mean, like, what? How does that circle of holidays come
And
from?
this is the
Who
first
watches
time they
that?
found those doors?
Yeah.
Here's my question also. So he walks there from Halloween Town. Does that mean you can walk to all the different towns to the doors?
Yeah.
Or does each town have their own set of doors?
I imagine each town has a set of doors because there wasn't a pumpkin door. Was
There
there?
is a
in Chris-
pumpkin door.
There is a pumpkin door?
Yeah, that's why. So they've all got to be able to walk to
Well,
these doors.
Wait, does
The-
that mean there's another land that is like a second Halloween
No,
town?
well, because it opens up with the Halloween with the pumpkin door, and then we go into it, and
That's where it starts.
But he walks over to them,
But he doesn't have one.
he doesn't see it.
Are you sure?
Because the thing is, I'm pretty sure he doesn't see it because when he goes into the Christmas one, he just falls
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, how do the Oogie Boogie kids are safely able to bring someone if they're just falling? And that means, but how does he get back to Halloween Town?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't show it.
They don't show it.
But that's one of those things that is just like skip to the end.
It's movie
So
magic.
he has to walk back.
Or he has to walk to the Christmas Town's forest.
No, he steals a snowmobile.
Yeah. And then
Remember?
he drives it back.
And he steals all that stuff. He steals it.
He's got to
So
drive
he's-
it back.
Well, he
he's
steals Santa
better.
Claus.
He's a better Grinch than Grinch.
That is
He literally stole Santa Claus.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
stole Christmas. Santa, he stole the idea of Christmas.
kidnapped.
Yeah.
There's kidnapping. There's
no
larcen.
Yeah.
I think we need to, I think we need
Grand
to
Theft
get,
Auto.
we need to get Nolan on this.
When you
Oh
looking
my
at that?
God. I was going to see. He does have a Halloween tree.
He does have a Halloween tree.
I'm looking at the scene right now.
Well, he doesn't walk through it.
No, but
He doesn't see his tree.
That's
Where
like
does that tree lead?
It's like treeception. Like, what does that go into? Like, a
It'd be
second
so
level of
funny if he
Halloween
opened
Town?
the door, it just like popped him out, and it's like he's back in that same grove. He's like, what the?
yeah. So he walks. I'm looking at it right now. So he walks in.
Yeah, we're looking at it right now.
We're watching it.
There's-
Oh my
there's
God! Copyright music.
Valentine's Day.
we can't have the sound in there.
He's got the turkey, the egg, the heart, the shamrock.
okay.
And then,
But there's
he
no
sees
pumpkin
Christmas.
one.
That's the pumpkin one next to it.
And he's looking at it.
It's next. So when they show it in the
Opening sequence.
opening, it's the Christmas tree next to the pumpkin, correct?
Yeah.
So on the edge here, he looks at it, and there's this orange on the tree beside it.
Treeception.
Look, see on the orange over there.
I
Conspiracy.
don't know.
So my question: he's got to be able to walk to it, because otherwise, how would he get back?
it
with
probably
snow?
goes
Yeah.
straight to his door. Straight to his house.
It's right to his house.
Anyway, these are the tough
I mean,
questions we're tackling here on
the-
Nerd
yes.
on the podcast.
Yes.
these wouldn't be like fan theories at this point. These would be more actually like plot holes.
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like these
Sure.
are more plot
Yeah.
holes.
Because he really needed to.
Because
Or
the
are
thing,
they?
Because the thing is, I'd like there to be logic behind like, cool, like you have to find their own set of trees. Because like it makes sense that there's a dead forest, but then like And then in the Christmas one, there'd be like just pine tree.
Yeah.
with snow
Pine
on it
grove.
and stuff.
And then like if you go to, I don't know, maybe in the-
Thanksgiving, it's like all orange and yellow tree. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
fall, autumn
colors.
trees.
Yeah.
And then
And plague.
and then I mean like in the Shamrock City town, it's just giant bottles of beer somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I think that's how that works.
Yeah.
or
There's really like a lost sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas.
in the Valentine's
like,
Day
called
one, it's just
Part
boxes
Deux.
of chocolates that they open up,
Yeah.
or chocolate factories.
And all those questions would be answered.
Cocoa
Jack
trees.
just gets fat off chocolates.
Yeah.
What's this? Oh, it's nougat.
That's the sequel I want to see.
wafer thin?
Wait, so what was the
I need a
original?
bucket.
What was your original question?
Oh, it was. How does he like? He's singing "What's this?" but he's saying what everything is.
Well,
like,
yeah.
how does he know?
So those things have to exist
answered that already.
in the world already.
I answered that.
yeah,
Those things have to exist in the world already, and that's what it is.
he's a long lost child.
He's a long lost.
No, those things
Christmas
exist.
town.
Of Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
Chestnuts and fireplaces exist. Children exist, but it's just like in snow they just don't ever have. It.
I
It's
will
like
say,
LA.
apparently there was an extended cut where Santa comes back to Halloween Town to visit Jack, and he's got like little skeleton
And he's like,
children.
we have to go back to the future.
He's got he's got little skeleton children.
Where we're going,
We don't need trees.
We don't need reindeer.
He comes flying in his sleigh. Santa, what's wrong? Oh, where are your reindeer?
This is what happens. when
Santa's
you,
now voiced by Christopher Lloyd. And Jack is Michael J.
blood is
Fox.
fueled by garbage.
This is what happens when you nerd on too hard.
It is.
When you nerd on too
All
hard.
right, let's bring it
melt-
back
melt
in. Let's bring it
everything
back in.
All right.
Well, I think that's a pretty good place to stop.
I do.
It's
Tell us
No.
how you.
No. Rating.
Yeah, we
gotta
gotta
rate
rate
the
the
oh
movie.
no! Come on.
Yes. Rate. We are.
Why don't
we
you
are
ask me
adults.
to rate my childhood, Tom?
I will.
2.
I will.
No, just kidding.
Jesus. You must rate it
And that's out of
amongst its peers
10.
of films.
Did you say rate your childhood?
rate.
Okay,
my
good.
Rate
There's a hard teach.
I like that
I
you
was like,
stayed silent.
wow.
Whoa.
Said rapture.
Are we
earlier.
rating? Do we rate older movies too, or we just rate the ones that
Yeah.
come out?
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Why not?
I don't know. Rotten
I
Tomatoes
didn't
can do
rate
it.
matter,
Lawrence of
right?
Arabia
You should.
5 stars.
Okay, that's your rating. But I mean, these are all our ratings for.
Okay,
like
all right.
we're adults. We could analyze it. We could tell what we love, and this was an entire episode without qualms.
Yeah.
Eh.
But where did he get the books?
There is an all holiday father and mother who passes out
It's
these.
the tree that all of the trees are in.
Mother
I'm
Nature.
Mr. Snow. I would easily, for me, this is a 5-star movie.
It's a 5. It has to be. to me.
Easily. It's one of those movies. There's not a single part in that movie where I could have done without that scene.
Yeah. And I can rewatch it and be okay with it.
We've been rewatching it for, as Tom said, 14 years, plus another 10 years.
Yeah.
14 plus 10.
Just for extra credit.
14 with 10 years of experience.
Yeah.
God,
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 4.9.
It's 2 years younger than me.
Can I do that? Can I give it a 4.9?
You
can
can
give-
do whatever you
can
want
give you a-
to get the fuck out of this room. No, it's
That's it. You die. Shit. I mean, I might give it a.
He has something inside his soul.
Hold on,
that
hold
cannot-
on. What you might? What, Tom? What's
I
happening?
might give it a. 4.
I
You know what?
drew-
5.
5
fuck
stars.
it,
Tom
five.
gave 5 stars.
I'm the Grinch
You are the Grinch.
this week.
Yeah, there's
twist.
Like, there's nothing wrong with it in terms of like series of events, narrative, thematic, conveyance, character development. There's everything that plays part to it for where I could enjoy it as a film, and I appreciate it, and it does well in terms of the where it lies in history, in terms of technology, in terms of writing, in terms of music. It plays to every single part pretty well, very well, masterfully done. And so
Mark the calendars.
Sign of the Apocalypse. So
When
yeah.
we review other movies, just cut in this response. Yeah. We'll be good to go.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's condensed, it's short, it doesn't drag anything on. You don't feel like there's any like super ancillary or tertiary parts that didn't need to be in there, or I guess appendix in there, or whatever.
You can't afford to do that with claymation
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's very cut, it's very lean. Like
Yeah.
we said, it's a short film.
or stop motion. It's not necessarily clay.
It's not super long, so I guess 5.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm
You
impressed.
were the
I'm gonna feel bad now.
were you taking off that 0.1 because you felt like it would be wrong to give something a 5 or
Well, it was like I think it was one of the times we were talking about like reviewing movies.
give it a
like,
5.
A 5. This is a movie that you would want to blow the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not the Corey status.
I'll blow Henry. It's fine. It's good. It's worth it.
That could be okay with me.
Like this is something I would buy the 30th anniversary, 14-year
Well,
anniversary.
we're coming up on the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, metal box set or something like that for it. It's something that I think it holds its own place in time.
That collector's edition steelbook.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then
Cool.
that's a good place.
Yeah,
to,
that's a
to
great
shut
place.
this down
yeah.
and stop this.
But where did he get the books?
Where did he get those fucking books? Anyway, everybody at home.
Santa Claus didn't recognize Jack because he was their dead kid.
Oh,
Jesus.
That grew up as a skeleton.
What if Halloween
Lost at
Town
birth.
is literally
So, Josh, where can people come?
all the dead people in Halloween Town are just the dead children of all the other holidays?
Yes.
It's getting real dark. So you can get us on Instagram at Nerd on the Podcast, Twitter, Nerd on the Pod, Facebook, Nerd on the Podcast. Go on YouTube, do a little searchy search. We're not
We're
big
there.
boys.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Subscribe.
All
Help
of
us
the
so you don't have to
episodes-
search.
all of the episodes go on as videos so you can watch, run it in the background, whatever you do, your podcast thing. You can find me on Instagram, Joshua S. Manley. You can find me on Twitter, just Josh and ya. You can find me on Facebook. It's better if I say it like that, so it sounds like I'm saying, hey, I'm on Twitter, just Josh and ya,
Yeah, and then he looks at me.
because he hates it so much.
Tom's
how Tom likes
favorite.
It's his favorite so much, so hard, turgidly. Where was I? Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on
IMDb?
IMDb, Joshua Sterling. You can see all of my works. My website sounds like Sterling. If you want to check out my sound stuff,
What does it sound like?
just go there and find out.
What a dick.
You can find me on
He's
PSN.
still mad about the Just Josh and you thing.
No,
Yeah.
now it's like, oh, I have Twitter, just Josh and you. Oh, I have a website. Sounds like Sterling. I'm like, God damn it.
Master of puns.
Oh gosh. Anyway, you can find me on PlayStation Network, Sterling J85. How about you, Tom?
I don't want to go anymore. You can find me at Tall Dark Not Ugly on everything. Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Thomas Biborsooth on professional stuff like IMDb. You can
Just
find my
Tom and
YouTube
you.
Yeah, well. Vimeo and PlayStation Network as Tall Dark _N0T Ugly. And the Capes Crusaders podcast for any comic book stuff you might want to listen to. And things I work with Corey are on.
They have great posts over there.
You can find me and Tom's stuff on at We Are Storyboard, BORED, and we are at We Are Storyboard on the Instagrams or at Corey89 to find me on the Instagrams as well.
Ollie, you can find me at FutureFoe on Twitter. You can
you
find me
can.
at YouTube /FutureFoe Plays. You can find me on Blizzard, FutureFoe #11785. Let's play some video games.
You can also find him on Facebook and Instagram, but he probably won't answer you.
I probably wouldn't know if you can.
That's where he's the old man of the group, is the
Yes.
online social media.
Yes, yes. But everybody at home, thank you for listening. As always,
Nerd on.
Ending broadcast.